Hello and welcome to Chew Bubblegum Kick Ass. I'm your horror host, Harrison Manson.
I'm Craig McKenzie.
And I'm David Patterson.
And this has been a nice little one for us, night out, and kind of what we talked about before. We talked about like going to see or talk about Christmas related horror movies, and we saw Gremlins tonight.
Yes, we did.
Yeah,
That was great.
It was awesome. I am so happy. Gremlins is one of the films of my childhood, and when everybody was too busy watching Star Wars and stuff like that, I was watching Gremlins and Back to the Future and Jurassic Park. And
I watched Gremlins 2 as a kid. Not the movie. I also watched Gremlins as well as Star Wars.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I think I saw a great...
No, but I just mean I'm not thinking of
I thought you were thinking of Star Wars.
No.
Well, other people watching Star Wars.
Yeah,
I was watching Gremlins.
Yeah, because I think I saw
and Back
Gremlins...
to the Future.
No,
and
I
other
don't.
Steven Spielberg produced movies.
And Jaws and all that. No, I just mean because they were the videos that I had. I didn't have the videos for Star Wars, so I watched. Had I had the videos for Star Wars, I probably would have watched them as well. But it was always Gremlins, Ghostbusters, Jaws, Jurassic Park, Indiana Jones, Back to the Future. It was all them that I watched. So, and that's where my kind of love for cinema kind of really started.
Really?
Gremlins was one of those films, and so to see it on the big screen was just so special.
Yeah, because I mean, unlike you guys, like I saw Gremlins when I was a teenager, and that's how I was introduced to it. And I've only seen it like a few times, and I think this screening that we were at is like the 4th or 5th for me, and it was so great just seeing it on the big screen with like a fan base there as well. It was just like spectacular. It was just like awe-inspiring.
And for me, actually, like when I was growing up, I saw Gremlins 2 before I saw Gremlins.
So you were a bit like me, where you saw like the second one before you saw the first one?
Yeah, but what it was is I was a really little kid and it was on TV, and Gremlins 2, especially with like the spider gremlins stuff, like I end up having nightmares. Like
that thing did look creepy.
My mum said that she remembers me like having to like stay in her bed crying as a little kid because I was that scared of the gremlins. Like, so it was like probably like cute childhood memory where it was like, just really scared of gremlins. Like, I bet it was actually more of them as Mogwai scared me, like because of like the striped one that was all like really nasty and Gremlins
it was, yeah.
So it was like the other ones I was like, oh, they're cute, and then he showed up and I was like, oh, I don't think I like this.
Yeah. So am I the only one who was seeing Gremlins then Gremlins 2 then?
No, because I it was my dad. Actually, my dad used to tape a lot of videos. Remember taping movies on?
Well, that's it. Actually,
Channel 5. Channel 5 used
Gremlins
to be...
2. I had on a tape that was taped on a TV.
Yeah.
So I only ever knew of Billy working as an architect and then Gizmo to be in the lab. I missed the whole beginning part where the Chinese man dies and the building gets knocked down.
Yeah.
That whole part I never saw until I was about I must have been about 18 or 19 when I finally saw that part.
Fair enough.
I went my whole life not knowing about that beginning part of
that
Gremlins,
was always something that's why like Gremlins and Back to the Future and that's why Gremlins and Back to the Future that's why Gremlins and Back to the Future and Jaws and Jurassic Park and stuff mean so much to me, because my dad used to record them when they were on the telly, and maybe that's why I never saw Star Wars, because Star Wars never saw a release on terrestrial television. Like it was all these other films and he used to tape them for me, and then we would sit down, we would watch them when he came home on a Saturday. So it was like me and my dad's movie night.
Right.
So I saw Gremlins, and then I saw Gremlins 2, because it was like it was on one week after the other. It was like something like that, and it was Channel 5 used to be really good for showing.
I'm pretty sure it must have been Channel 5 as well, like for me.
And
like
they used to show a lot. I felt like that was back when Channel 5 was awesome, and they used to like just do re-releases of films like all the time.
And not just
I used
imitation Big Brother now.
Yeah, damn.
Like it's weird, like the kind of stuff they do now. I think Channel 5 is the only one that do it, which really messes up like your recordings if you're doing anything. They actually take a space during the ad breaks of the movies for the news, but it counts as a separate part. So when you're recording a film, you need to, and it's on Channel 5 or something, you need to make sure to record both parts
That's
of it.
right.
I
Because,
know,
like,
it's like...
it
Yeah.
gets messed up.
That's why I really hate like films on TV these days, because of all the adverts. You just want to see the movie as a whole, like no
Yeah.
interruptions, so you don't need to pause it or like
But that's
unpause it and things like that. Back in
That's
the old
what-
days,
but
and it's
that's
like it's so frustrating when you have it in sections.
Yeah, I know.
You just want to see the film in its integrity.
yeah. But that's why I love Gremlins, and so getting to see it on the big screen, which is something obviously I wouldn't have had a chance to do before because I was like
Yeah.
I wasn't born then.
we weren't around. yet.
We were, I wasn't even a gleam in my father's eye. Like my dad had still to meet my mum by that point. I think
You were
So-
what's an isolated wank somewhere.
And
The
this
wife
is a
actually
story where Craig was born.
No, actually, supposedly the best way to put it
yeah,
is
my
like,
mum and dad watched Gremlins, and then they went,
One thing leads to another.
I fancy being frisky like a gremlin.
I mean,
Let the gremlin do.
there may not be a sense.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
See the gremlin.
There may not be a Santa Claus, but I'm looking right now at a ho ho ho.
Whoa, that's my mother, Harrison.
Oh,
That's
God.
Mrs. Mackenzie to you.
You're gonna
Perfect.
climb down my chimney, get stuck and die. It's like
Oh.
it's like okay, well now we're taking this metaphor kind of weird.
We're going a bit far with this, Ian.
Yeah.
I'm a
I was about to be like, I'm Harrison. I was like, no wait, you're talking about your dad.
I was gonna say I'm gonna feed you after midnight. I'm gonna get you wet. Yes.
Oh no.
Oh no. Anyway, that's my mum and dad. What is wrong with me?
Technically, he did get her wet, and she multiplied.
Oh
'Cause
no.
you're here.
Right, enough.
Although I don't know if she lay on the ground screeching like Gizmo.
For the Mackenzie family, we apologise in advance.
maybe in labour. Just like. What's that noise she's making?
I don't know, but why is the child coming out of her back and bouncing all across the room? By the way, these are supposed to be ears, not bums. Leave it.
Oh no.
Leave it. Forget it. Just ignore it.
Yeah, because I was quite surprised when the scene where you see Zach walking down the street to go to his job, and then you whispered to me in the cinema saying, "By the way, Dave, see how that scene there? That's also the set that they used in Back to the Future." And I was
That's right.
Oh right, yeah. I didn't.
Yeah,
really
not a lot
know
of
that.
people.
is.
Not a lot of people
I
know,
didn't-
but the
I recognised
town,
it.
the
It's
town
Hill
square.
Valley.
Yeah, the town
'cause it-
square in Gremlins is also the town square for Back to the Future. If you pause it at the right bit, when you actually see the title come up saying Gremlins and you hear that, Christmas, the snow's coming down. If you pause it there, you can actually see the clock tower, and you can see obviously the big grassy
Uh-huh.
kind of square bit, and then
Right.
and then obviously the bank is actually the cafeteria.
Yeah.
Ah.
It's like just whoa, Doc. Like
Whoa,
Oh,
Doc!
I think we messed with the timeline again, Doc. There's little green things everywhere.
Gremlins and Back
And just
to the
been like,
Future.
and just been like, run, Marty!
They found me. I don't know how, but they found me.
Oh my God, they found me. I don't know how, but they found me.
The Gremlins, Marty.
The Gremlins, Marty!
A Gremlins and Back to the Future crossover.
Oh my God.
I would love to see
A
that.
gremlin in the DeLorean.
Oh no. They'd be unstoppable then.
The best, just going through time, messing shit up.
Yep.
My God, man.
Marty. Got it.
Yeah.
Caca. I hate caca.
See, practically writes itself.
I know. Well, speaking of writing stuff, like there was a Dave. I don't think we told you about this. Like it was when we were talking about you, like I was saying, we were talking about Gremlins on the bus. Like
Yeah. Okay.
in one of the last podcasts, me and Craig ended up coming up with like a movie pitch idea for a fan film because we were talking about Never Hike Alone in fan films, and I said about. Okay, well, we could do a Gremlins fan film where it's like Rock and Ricky's last stand.
Yeah, because in the film, one of the biggest plot holes, and I don't know about you guys, but I actually noticed two. Right? So,
okay.
first of all, the first one is obviously Rock and Ricky. So the whole Rock and Ricky Rialto, and obviously throughout the film he's got these wee kind of segments which are peppered through it. Right at the very end though, if you listen very carefully, when Billy's dad comes back to town, you can hear Ricky Rialto on the radio going, "Well guys, Rocky and Ricky is still on the air. They tried to take us off, but it's not happening. We've got the marshals here. They're gonna turn the hoses on them." And you'll never hear anything else, and it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rockin' Ricky like, didn't kill them, he made them multiply somewhere else.
Even more, yeah.
And we never know what happened there. So it's like, there's a whole story that no one's ever explored before, this whole Rockin' Ricky Alto
So it's like,
thing.
we want to just do like a fan film when it's just Rockin' Ricky's last night in the studio when the gremlins attack. Just like, hey, those aren't Rockin' Ricky fans. Just like
What is it, gang? A couple of Rockin' Ricky Rialto fans? Oh my god, wait, they're not Ricky Rialto fans! What's going on here? Ah!
just like this horrible noise he makes. It's just like, geez, what did they do to
But
him?
we get...
I think he's alive.
Do we really want to know?
Yeah, so what's the second one then?
Well, the second one is, if you remember, when Billy goes up to his dad and goes, well, Dad, we've got a bit of a problem, they multiply with water, and Billy's dad's like, what? And then he takes him down and shows him, and he's like, I bet every kid in America would want one of these. The pelts are pet. And it's like, oh, like, that would have been like an interesting thing, had it been like, he maybe took one of the gremlins with him to that trade show thing. And I actually remember, not when I first saw the film, but when I paid a wee bit more attention to it, I was like, oh, so that would have been pretty interesting if it was like a... Because it's kind of brought up and then dropped. Like, it would have been like a whole different picture if it was just about him trying to sell the Mogwai as like the perfect family pet, and they all turned into these guys. These horrible, nasty gremlins.
I'm just imagining like the alternate reality where he's like, good news, sonny, I sold so many Mogwai. Like, hundreds of them.
What if it was the end and the dad never actually came back, and then that...
I was going to say he comes back happy after selling lots of Mogwais, and it's just like the whole town is trashed. What happened? And it's just like,
and it just ends with...
It's just like face going white, like, oh god, what have I done?
And it just... And, like,
I started the apocalypse.
That's it. He comes home, like, he doesn't come home as early as he does, but he comes home after, obviously, the Chinese guys taking the gizmo away again. And then they're all kind of standing there, and then the dad comes in, and he's like, hey guys, you'll never believe it, the Pulitzer pet went down an absolute treat. I was going to say I could have ran out of stock, but and being like, just the dad, and then like, being, what's going on? And then it's just like that guy in the TV going, little green men. And it just ends. It's like, oh my god, there's gremlins all over the place now.
Imagine there was like a Gremlins movie we just never saw the Gremlins, we just followed like, we just followed the dad.
Just follow the dad.
When he goes to a convention, a guy in a time machine vanishes, and he's just like, and he just comes home. It's like, what? It's pretty much like, hey, what I miss? It's just like whole towns in ruins.
What did I do?
They're dead. They're all dead.
The Furmans. Oh god, the Furmans.
Mrs. Deagle's dead, so I mean, you know, take from that what you will.
Mrs. Deagle. What about her? She's dead. Oh.
Oh. What a travesty.
Yeah.
What a shame.
Yeah, because I think anybody who's seen Gremlins can really despise this character.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I'm kind of happy, but also gutted that you pointed out the wavy arms.
What?
Because I'm like going, it's sort of like going,
That's what makes it funny.
I don't, it's funny as it is, it's something I've never noticed before, so now like, it just,
It's just like she comes out the window and
just the arms flailing.
It's not, I think it was just empty sleeves. There wasn't actually it was like a dummy with just a torso but no arms, and so the sleeves just go. Like they just flap
Kermit
about.
the Frog.
They just like do this like little basically they just flap about like wee empty sleeves in the wind.
Maybe I'll put him in my spin dryer on high heat.
and then you got that guy.
That'll do it all right.
That guy there's like, that'll do it all right.
That'll do it. Waka waka.
Well, I mean, hey, let's see, puppets and all that stuff, it works, you know?
But I don't know about you guys, but I kind of, I mean, I've obviously, you know, until you actually spend time with like-minded people, I've always obviously loved Gremlins. But see, being in a theatre, fully booked, no empty seats anywhere, except for on either side of us. So
Even though it was a sold out screen.
Even though it was a sold out screen somehow, yeah. But I think it's just, it's amazing just to kind of been in there in that atmosphere with everybody else, and realising just how much other people love it as much as we do. Because like, I don't know about you guys, but there were parts of that I found funny in there.
Yeah.
I don't normally find funny just
Yeah.
watching it, and it was because everybody else was
Yeah.
laughing. And I'm like,
Yeah, like
Do you know what?
there's a
That's-
really good part which I didn't find that funny before, and it's like, and it's kind of funny, like when his mum, after killing like 3 gremlins to go find the other one, she takes a knife, but then goes and grabs another knife. And I was like, I've not.
dual wield activated.
I've never noticed that before. I was like, that's actually kind of funny. Like she thinks about it, it's like, no.
Especially
Better
seeing
grab
as though you brought this little guy.
Yeah,
Well, this-
I brought my gremlin.
Yeah.
I have a prop. I have a prop-sized replica of a gremlin by a company that me and Harrison are both very familiar with, Trick or Treat Studios. And yeah, is one of the pride and joys of my kind of geeky movie collector's cabinet collection that I have. But it's like a full-sized foam latex rubber gremlin, and you can puppeteer it, and it was just, I mean, even the reaction to this, like,
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you, it did kind of cross my mind, am I being stupid by bringing this? Like, I know that obviously I'm going to be filled with, obviously it's going to be filled with Gremlins fans and all that kind of stuff, but am I an idiot for taking this?
Well, there was Zach Galligan, the lead actor there, obviously doing a Q&A, but apart from that, you were the next best thing there in everybody else's eyes, because everybody was like, oh, there's that guy, he's got like
Everybody
the
wanted a
Gremlin
picture
puppet.
with the gremlin. Like, there was there was about three or four people that wanted a picture with the gremlin, and then after everything was said and done, there was about 2, 3 folk came up and asked me where I got it from.
Yeah, so a lot of people showed a lot of
So
interest.
and then
in
like even when we came in, everybody was like, "Oh my god, he's got a gremlin! Like he's got a gremlin!" And then when we sat down, people were like looking over and like going,
yeah,
man, like he's got a
they were
gremlin."
really into the gremlin.
They were really into the, and then obviously where we went to Fault and Blame.
Yeah, that's
for
right.
dinner.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
And then they were like, "Oh my god, I need to see it. Can I take this for 5 minutes?" And I was like, "Yeah, just bring it back." And then they done like a promotional video
Yeah.
for your work with the gremlin.
That's what I'm going to do the next day. I'm going to look at Fault and Blame's site on Facebook and see if that video has been posted.
Oh, it's already on the Instagram.
Oh, is
Is it? Oh,
Yeah.
sweet.
So just yeah,
This will be a
no,
bit you probably need to edit out, probably.
there you go. It's like, it's fine. We're just looking at it. Essentially, just looking at my boss playing with a Gremlins puppet.
That is great. That was a good promotional video. Come
There
to
you go.
Fault and Blame. Gremlins love it here.
Gremlins.
Gremlins.
You're like Benedict
these
Cumberbatch
gremlins.
when he can't say penguins.
Penguins.
Penguins. Gremlings. Gremflings. Flemlings.
Give me credit, at least I corrected
Flang
myself in the end.
flonglings.
Yeah.
Grumblings.
So,
yeah, so I mean, I was obviously,
over the
I
top.
was so happy when it got as big a reaction as it did having
Yeah.
this there. Everybody was kind of, it was really genuinely like one of those moments where people are like pointing at me going, "Yeah, man, like well done you," and like, "Oh, mate, that's awesome."
And it's like, even
thanks.
even the film itself, like the audience interacted with it. They laughed, they
Yeah.
cheered,
It
and
was
then when it's like
one
when
of
it
the
was
best
over,
experience. Everybody
they
clapped. Yeah.
It's like I
I mean,
love that.
I'll
in
be
the film.
one of the saddest experiences of going to the cinema for me was that time we went to go see the re-release for Ghostbusters, and every time the tune came on, me and you were like, "Ghostbusters,
Yeah.
something straight," and it was just like, "Shh."
Oh.
Do you know what I mean?
Jeez,
And then like even at the very end, me and you're like, "Woo!" and we're clapping, but it was like literally maybe me and you and like 4 other folk that were clapping, and it's like.
what?
Man, yeah, it was,
Seriously?
it was such a sad, lackluster
sake.
audience, and it was like, it's the original Ghostbusters, people.
I know. I mean,
At least,
you
like,
must
uh,
have seen
Come
that
expecting,
sometime in
like,
your life.
come and be interactive with it.
I
It's
know.
okay to be interactive with a film that's been out for,
That's,
Years,
as long as it
yeah.
has.
Yeah.
I still remember we went to see Back to the Future.
Yeah.
The 25th anniversary it was, I believe.
Yeah, that's
and,
right.
Mhm.
The
and-
first one.
Yeah, like the audience cheering, like
Yeah.
That
was-
when Beth gets punched in the
yeah.
face,
Yeah,
and
I
it's,
still-
everyone was like, "Yes!"
Yeah, I still can't watch Back to the Future now, just even on my own, without when George McFly punches Biff and just being like, "Yeah!" Because the whole place was just like, "Woo!" like clapping. It's like, that to me, that's cinema.
Yeah.
Like, the Americans do it, or from what I've been told, like, when you go to an American cinema, it's so interactive. Like, people
Oh, yeah,
are like,
they
Uh-huh.
love it.
when
Like-
things happen and they're like, "Why?" and like, "Oh my god!" like, that's
Yeah.
amazing, and blah blah blah, and then like at the end, people clap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here in Britain, like, you maybe, obviously, for a like, I've only really seen, like, reactions from audiences if it's a comedy or if it's a horror.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And even at that, at the very end, nobody claps. Everybody just gets up and leaves.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's such a shame that
Yeah.
level of atmosphere isn't here.
I
But
know.
it was there tonight with Gremlins, and it was fantastic.
I think the funniest thing for me is like seeing reactions from folk in horror movies, because I think the one that stands out for me is me on my own seeing Lights Out, and there's this couple that's sitting diagonally in front of me,
There's a
and
hand
there's
job.
and it's the scene
Just like-
where she's going up into the
Reach over.
stairway with the ultraviolet light,
Huh.
and you just see this hand come out, and then you just see the couple go, and I'm just looking at him, just going.
I love the fact that
Damn it, I wish I was you.
I love it that David was watching another couple as opposed to watching the film.
I know.
He followed them there.
I kind of got stuck in there, didn't I? Yeah.
You kind of go, what?
I kind of got stuck into that conversation.
Right in there.
It's like, yeah, I kind of. No, in that sense, I mean, I just kind of got walked into that conversation there, didn't I?
You get how you do.
Yeah, you
You
do.
walk yourself in.
I can't
You
help
really
it if
did.
you see a girl couple like clenching the arm or something, you're just kind of like at the corner of your eye, you're just like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
And then you just have to wait and see what happens, and then she just goes, ah, and I'm just like,
But the it was amazing as well because, like I say, obviously there was bits in it that people were reacting to that I've never kind of reacted to myself. But in hindsight, because I was with everybody there in an atmosphere and all that, because I was like, yeah, that actually is quite fun. And just when you were saying about there's bits that you've never noticed before, like her obviously going back and getting the other knife.
Yeah.
In all the years that I've watched
That's right.
Gremlins,
Something that I've discovered, and I've pointed out to Craig.
and
the
blew my mind.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
in the bar scene where it's like the gremlins playing poker, the one that I just always thought was a gremlin in drag, and then it only just dawned on me that it's like it's wearing Mrs. Deagle's wig and her hat. And I was like, whoa, what? I was like, he's wearing Mrs. Deagle's stuff. Like,
Jesus.
And it was like, Jesus, after they killed her by
They-
adjusting
they
the
grave
speed of
robber.
her chair, they then stole all her stuff.
they raided her wardrobe,
I want to
tried
know what
all
they
her
done to the
stuff.
cats.
I think it's very safe to assume those cats have been eaten by gremlins.
Those cats have
Yeah.
been eaten by gremlins. Yeah.
They've got
We-
to.
Because the
we
dog
need an
was
answer
supposed to
to
be getting, the dog was one of the things that Zach said in the question, and we'll get on to the question and answer session at the end of obviously talking about the actual film itself. But one of the things that Zach had said was obviously Chris Columbus, the guy that wrote the script for Gremlins. The first script that he sent to Steven Spielberg was just a straight up horror movie. Like everybody maybe doesn't know, but. In the original script, Billy was supposed to come home and his mum's head was supposed to roll down the stairs. Like the gremlins killed her.
Yeah.
And then he was supposed to look over and see that Barney was eaten, and he was supposed to see them all eating the dog.
Good Lord.
And he was like,
Jesus
and then that's
Christ.
so. But Steven Spielberg was like, I like it, but there's bits that need to change. The mum needs to live. The dog doesn't have to die. Only the nasty people die. So
Buzzkill.
Steven Spielberg came in and worked his Spielbergian magic.
a little bit of schmaltz.
A little bit of Spielberg schmaltz. But I love me some Spielberg schmaltz.
I know, like fucking Michael Crichton, and then like the miserable old bastard John Hammond falls to his doom, being eaten alive by his own creations, the dinosaurs.
Well, I think we should let him live.
What if he was nice and Scottish, and what if
And a national treasure with
Right.
Richard Attenborough.
Yeah.
I mean, like, well, just a little schmaltz, just a little sprinkle of schmaltz.
Oh, just a little Spielberg schmaltz.
Just
in
like
there.
that's it.
Do
Just
you know what
like,
he's like? He's like
Saltby.
he's like Stephen Saltby. Like
That's
it's
it.
like he just kind of goes like that with a little bit
Yeah.
of schmaltz and
That's
just
it, just.
sprinkles it all over
That's
everything
it.
he
Michael
touches.
Crichton
and just
comes to
makes
him with
it-
like this gritty dinosaur book that he wanted to write, and Spielberg's just kind of like sprinkle, and he's like, Stephen, no. Just like,
Don't you dare.
well, it's like, I've worked really hard on this, Stephen. I've talked to paleontologists. Like, I spoke with horror movies director Stephen. I really want to write this dark, gritty dinosaur book.
A little bit of schmaltz.
What if we just put in a little bit of schmaltz?
A little bit.
Well, you
Just a little bit of sprinkling Spielbergian magic.
well, you
So
can't.
how's Schindler's List coming along? Don't ask me about that. It's about me. It's about my people. oh, but come on, Steven, a little schmaltz. It's like, don't you dare.
How dare you?
I'm sorry.
But you can't fault Steve because he is probably one of the
Oh yeah,
greatest
that's it.
directors.
I mean, well, let's
me.
put it this way: it's like it's not so much.
Well, there's
on
a
that-
reason why his stuff works. People
Exactly,
love
and
his-
well, it's like-
people love his schmaltz.
that's the way to look at it. Is like you have to think about as a filmmaker what's going to be marketable to like a wide
what's
audience.
safe and what's not
Exactly. So
Spielberg has his schmaltz. Tarantino has
safe.
his
Thing.
Tarantinoisms.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
George Lucas has A New Hope.
Oh.
Well, I did other movies like Indiana Jones.
It's like, shut up, George, in the corner.
Even at that, I still I mean, I know he was heavily involved with Indiana Jones, but I still always see Indiana Jones as a Spielberg film.
It is. Like, I mean, it's kind of like the same sort
He
of thing with
maybe
something
helped
like.
create the character,
Well-
but he done nothing else.
Well, it's like it's kind of like what a lot of people say about. I've got Poltergeist. You know, it may be a Toby Hooper directed film, but
But it's very much
Spielberg's fingerprints are all over it.
Yeah,
It's like-
because I remember it was Spielberg who came to Tobe Hooper with the idea.
yeah,
And he saw Texas Chainsaw and he wanted Tobe to do it because of his sense of direction.
Yeah.
He wanted that for
Well,
Poltergeist.
I think this is
It
kind
was
of. I think this
Steven's
is kind
idea to have
of
the clown in it.
what.
The clown was never in the script.
Oh,
and
this
then
is
Steven
like-
Spielberg went, I'm terrified of clowns. Stick a clown in there.
That's kind of weird. Like considering like where Spielberg started out here, like with Jaws. Like, well, let's put it this way: the man's a very diverse, like kind of director. Like, and we do kind of seem to mostly associate him with the kind of more marketable and family friendly stuff. Even though, let's say, he has done like Schindler's
Well,
List.
have you ever
and such,
seen
like-
Jewel?
I recently got that
No,
on DVD. It
Jewel,
was great.
Jewel is, we're getting a wee bit off topic, but Jewel is a fantastic film. It was it was the film he done before Jaws.
Okay.
And
It was one of
basically
his
it's about,
first-
it was one of his first films he ever did. And basically what it is about this guy who is driving his car down like country American roads and he's getting like harassed by a truck driver. Now you never see the truck driver, you just see the truck and it's this big old rusty bucket.
Right.
And basically it turns into this real tense, nail-biting
Highway chase.
highway chase between this guy just getting chased by a total stranger. And it's the fact you never see him. And it's
that's
just, and
what
it's
terrifying.
fantastic.
Oh,
You
right.
should check out Jewel if you can.
Oh, I need to check that.
I really need to see it. I might watch that again tomorrow.
It's actually like a horror movie.
Yeah. Well,
It's got very horror movie sensibilities.
that's all I was gonna say. Is like because I think of what Spielberg became kind of quite famous and known for, with his like kind of summer blockbusters and you know kind of more family oriented stuff. I think that's probably why you would have approached someone like Tobe Hooper to do Poltergeist. So essentially, it is like a Spielberg film.
Well, I
But it's
think
more
he
like
wanted to do.
I think that's kind of what
Poltergeist,
it's like.
but
You know,
it's
looking at it
just-
going like it's almost a, like same sort of thing as like why Disney like released things like Nightmare Before Christmas under Touchstone. It's like kind of a brand.
Yeah.
Kind of like thing you go like, all right, this doesn't quite fit the niche that we've created, so let's
Yeah.
do
But
this.
I still want to really be actively
yeah,
involved
exactly.
in it.
So I mean, I don't know. That's me just spitballing.
That's why.
like,
Well,
you
that's
know.
why he produces films under Amblin.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Ambulance
films
is-
that he can kind of do himself, or do you know what I mean? Because
well, also he's probably
Yeah.
very busy. As
Yeah,
well,
that's-
let's be honest. Like, he's
So
very
anyway,
busy.
back to
Yeah, back to
Gremlins
Gremlins.
and the Q&A session.
Yeah,
That
so let's
was
talk about this
re-
Q&A
yeah.
session.
Yeah, the Q&A session was pretty special.
Well, pretty
It's
special
a
for
memory
one.
I will never forget.
Because it's pretty special for one of us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I think you could hazard a guess which one.
Yeah, it was me.
it's the man with the gremlin.
It's
Yeah.
the man with the gremlin. The whole time I was sitting there with the film, once the gremlins kind of showed up, I had the gremlin, obviously. Everybody had seen him before the film started, and everybody knew that I had him. And then obviously when it came to the bit where the actual gremlins showed up, I kind of picked him up and I kind of sat him on my lap for the rest of the film.
Yeah.
And then like after the kind of Q&A session started, first of all, Zach Galligan,
Very funny man. Like,
Yeah.
what a funny and kind of genuine I felt
Yeah,
person.
yeah.
Like it didn't feel like he was putting on a show or trying too hard. Or He was just telling really funny, interesting.
What's good is like,
stories.
I like as well.
Informative
Is,
stories as well.
yeah, that's what I was about to say. The fact that he like has such a knowledge about Gremlins and all the kind of smaller details of it as
Yeah.
well. Like that's something which I found kind of interesting because I was like going, oh damn! I was kind of holding myself back on thinking about any sort of technical or special effects questions because I'm like going, well, he was just.
You always kind of feel like it ruins it for
Oh,
you.
well, not even just that. It's just I'm like going, well, he was one of the actors in it. Like maybe you know he's like maybe he wouldn't
He
want
only
to talk
has
about.
limited knowledge.
Yeah, maybe he has
of
limited
things,
knowledge,
so
or maybe he wouldn't want to talk about all those kind
Right.
of technical kind of aspects, such. But he was right into
Yeah.
all of that stuff.
Yeah.
He seemed, which I like. When you find that out about people, like, because I've done it before. Whenever I've worked like a job, like film or like stage or whatever, I always like kind of going around and talking to everybody
Yeah.
and kind of seeing how they do what they do.
Yeah,
And so I'm like
it's
going,
interesting.
It's very interesting.
And it was nice that
Yeah.
he was able to kind of tell us stories like that. One of the stories he said, or I mean, even just the story about obviously how Gizmo worked, and the wires would go through his shirt, down his side, through his pants leg, and then he like anytime he would walk, there was like 5 people, all
crab walking
behind him, like trying to stay out of shot,
Yeah.
and then like the whole trying to react with Gizmo and trying to be all nice and like, oh, Giz, you okay? And then just hearing like Chris Wallace, the guy that sculpted and was in basically the first film's Rick Baker.
Yeah, like
You're sitting there going,
directing all of like his puppeteers.
but being like, okay, react, move the ears, not too much nose. That's it. And just being like, you're sounding dead sexy with a gremlin. It's like, wow. But yeah, and then like even just like stories that, I mean, I'd heard some of these stories before. Obviously, you can't be a fan of something and not have kind of done your homework a little bit. And like stories about Phoebe Cates' monologue.
Yeah, because I was surprised with that because I never heard about that story. And,
apparently
when he was telling
obviously he
I
told
thought,
you about it anyway. But even just hearing it from his like the actual, he said, she said, she said. Do you know what I mean? Like the whole like Joe and Dante going out and going, okay, Phoebe, so looks like we're gonna have to cut it. And Phoebe Cates just getting really upset, and Joe Dante would just been like, well, maybe we don't have to cut it.
I liked how he said he compared Phoebe Cates' look to Puss in Boots from
Shrek 2.
Like,
just his big wide eyes and just being like, and he was just like, well, maybe we don't have to cut it. So that was all interesting stuff, and even just the fact, because I never knew. I mean, I know that Joe Dante came in to direct it and all that kind of stuff, but I never knew that the script actually felt with Steven Spielberg first.
That was just like delivered through the mail as well. So what are the chances that fucking Steven Spielberg picks up a script that's given to him through the mail and actually reads it and looks at it and likes it? Like,
but do you know what?
Harrison, here's something for you to do.
Do you know what though? You've got to wonder whether or not like anything like that still happens in Hollywood, because it seems like such a different time. Scripts would. I mean, it happened with Predator. The script for Predator was dropped through someone's door. The script for Gremlins was dropped through Steven Spielberg's door. Do you know what I mean? It seems like you could drop a script through somebody's door and then get your film made. You can't do that now because they probably just bin it.
Yeah,
they probably don't even bother because it's like, if you can't go through the official channels, they're not going to read it.
And
it seems like such a shame because that was like, I mean, so many great ideas came from. I think that's why there was so much diversity for movies in the 80s. Like that's why everybody always remembers movies of the 80s, because they were all just so different, and they were all like, it gave us some. I mean,
it was
a time traveling car. The premise of this very film that we're talking about. A little cute thing that multiplies with water. If you feed it after midnight, it turns into this horrible, scaly, toothy thing that just causes mischief.
So it was like
all these amazing films.
It was like a diverse decade.
It was. It was an amazing.
I think it's like
cinema.
with the 80s, because like so many things
just seems like they don't take risks and stuff like that anymore.
Yeah.
Well, it's like with by the 80s, I feel like things like special effects as well had really reached such a pinnacle where. It's like film in general just really reached a new height where so many things were possible, even just in terms of like filming techniques and like cameras and all the kind of different things that people could do in the 80s. Like,
and it was just the whole problem solving of, I mean, even things like the story about how they never actually first decided to do it with the puppets.
Oh yeah, that was pretty great. I never knew that story.
Yeah, they were gonna dress monkeys up. To look like gremlins,
chimpanzees.
But then after 15 minutes, Joe Dante was like, "Yeah,
this isn't gonna work.
This isn't gonna work," because they just started throwing their shit at each other and just freaking out and destroyed the set. And it was like, no. So so that was obviously, it was fun, obviously, and very interesting hearing all those old stories. But then they went, okay, so we're going to open it up to the audience now for some questions, and it was like a moment to shine.
Yes.
You got 1, 2, 3, and then last question, guys. And then you had a whole row of hands.
Well, the thing is, they then said, right, okay, so this is going to be the last question, guys. and about 30 odd folk put their hands up,
Yeah.
and I put my hand up as well. Now I'd put my hand up about 3 times before, and they'd always managed to kind of pick someone else. And the kind of guy, the compere guy, was kind of swithering. He's like, and I just knew at that moment. I went, if I don't do this,
you're not gonna.
I'm not gonna get to it. And obviously, I had this gremlin sitting in my lap, and I just thrust him up in the air like Simba.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and Zach Gallagher just went, "Oh my God, is that a gremlin?"
Wow, that's a gremlin.
Oh my God, that's a gremlin. That's
Had
a real
chuckle
gremlin.
to himself.
And like everybody in the audience turned around.
Is that a gremlin?
Yeah, everybody turned around and was like, "Damn."
Yeah, you just
gremlin. You got a mini round of applause.
Yeah, I got a mini round of applause for having a gremlin. And the guy was like, "Okay, yeah, to the guy with the gremlin." Like, that's devotion right there. Yeah. And I said, and I started my question with, "Well, I was hardly gonna win it." The last question with just my hand, and it got a wee bit of a giggle. But my question was that I'd read somewhere a long time ago that Zach Galligan had done a treatment for a Gremlins 3 movie, and in it, he had obviously talked about how obviously Gizmo was going to get sold on eBay and all that kind of stuff, but I didn't really know anything other than that. So I just kind of said to him, "Look, as you know, as I'd heard somewhere that you'd done a treatment for Gremlins 3. What can you tell us about that?" And Gallagher was like, "I've literally I've never told anyone that. Like, how did you even know that? That's scary." And it was like, "That's actually a very good question.
Yeah.
I've never been asked that before." And then he proceeded to kind of go into detail, and it was like one of the. I mean, I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet, but I genuinely think that was one of the best questions.
Yeah, you could have
asked. Because it caught him off guard.
It was a good, because like you said as well, like it was a good question. He appreciated the question, and he enjoyed. Like, what was it he said? He said it when we were in town. It was like it was a good question. He enjoyed, like, it was a question you hadn't had before, so he enjoyed answering it or something. And the audience enjoyed hearing it because it was a fun.
It was like
a
story
story
like it was going to be fresh to a lot of people. It was kind of exactly what they wanted. Like, you know, instead of people being like confirm or deny with like, you know, rumors or trivia, which
other guy.
Which I mean, yours was like also a confirm or deny kind of thing, but it was something where he was like, "Oh wow, I have never actually had anyone ask me that question before. All right, well, here's like what my proposed Gremlins 3 script was."
And what it was is Billy's daughter sells Gizmo on eBay
to like
to
a rich family.
Private collector of exotic pets. Who's like the British equivalent of like Daniel Clamp from the second movie.
Yeah.
And obviously Gizmo runs amok and gets wet and all that kind of stuff. And then the Gremlins are basically running around London in the tube and all that kind of thing. Yeah. But then what happens is it answers that question, because in the films the Gremlins have never survived more than 48 hours. Or even more than 20, excuse me, they've never survived more than 24 hours.
Yeah.
So he was saying what would happen if they couldn't find them in time. And what happens is the Gremlins all come together into one giant cocoon and form a giant gremlin. And
like
it's
kaiju gremlin.
Swinging, kaiju gremlin, and it's swinging off Big Ben and throwing cars and like shit like that and climbing up the London Eye, and it's like, damn, that was. And he was like, I even took it to Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers were like, yeah, no. It was like, and like everyone was like that, like, damn, that's like
that was like the best concept.
And fitting with the whole Gremlins.
And he's even said about Chris Columbus has written a treatment for a Gremlins 3.
That's right.
And that he's very insistent on puppets, and the only CG that he would actually want would be to help remove the more technical aspects, which again is the way I've always kind of seen it, as it should be. Like CG should
as
be there.
A tool.
Yeah, as
not the only tool.
Yeah, something to aid, like, you know.
Yeah.
It's like to aid the overall effect, much like everything else, like your puppeteers. It's like, just something to aid the effect. So
because like I remember hearing, like, getting off sidetrack, it's like the prequel to The Thing, like, and they said behind the scenes is like, oh, we do use animatronics and things like that.
Practical effects, and then they CGI'd over the top of them.
Well,
I know, it's like,
Jesus
effects. Christ. It was like, it looked all CG, and it was like, what part of that was practical?
And then they said, well, what they done was they they put CGI over the top of the practical effects, because it's now got to the extent where if it isn't CGI, people think it looks faker than if it's CGI, and it's like, how can it look faker if it's
really there?
If it's really there, if it's a practical effect, it's in front of you.
It's like...
It's such a shame.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see that with certain other films that are coming out in the future, that we're going back to that golden age of practical effects.
Yeah, because I think...
We won't see what film, because that's for another podcast.
Because with John Carpenter's a thing, you never get practical effects like that, ever, anymore. And I feel like that is a shame, because it is a great visual
Rob
effect.
Bottin and Rick Baker and all that kind of stuff. Tom Savini and Chris Wallace. Chris Wallace is the Gremlins.
Yeah.
Oh, Stan Winston.
Stan Winston.
The absolute master.
Stan Winston.
The pioneer of so many different like techniques and such. Like
I thought I'd mentioned Stan Winston, that's why I didn't say his name.
Oh,
I'm so sorry. No, I don't apologise. I thought I'd mentioned his name. I don't think I did though. So thank you for mentioning him, because I would have been kicking myself had I not mentioned Stan Winston.
Unless he did say him and then I'm just like said his name again, and now we're just giving extra thoughts to Stan Winston going, it's the man. But then again, it's the man that created the T-Rex, like a giant actual functioning
alien.
Yeah.
And the Terminator,
giant
Predator,
functioning.
I know. It's like
monster.
T-Rex.
It's like,
the list
how did
goes
you
on
do that?
for him.
Yeah.
It's like,
that T-Rex is just the pinnacle of anything. But yeah, so Gremlins at the GFT. The GFT.
Sorry, Gremlins, you're only the second greatest hand puppets compared to that.
I always love going to see films in the GFT, because you feel like you're supporting an independent, local, like I as good to go to like Cineworld and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, they're like a big chain. But with the GFT, it relies on obviously people like, going back and seeing these old films, and
with something like Gremlins as well. Like when you look at that and the kind of small, quaint town kind of thing, where it's like they have like their movie house and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that's what the GFT feels like. It feels like the old town
movie.
It feels like the old town cinema that you all go to.
Yeah,
that's right. So it was nice. It was nice seeing it, and any kind of films on that screen, nostalgic or otherwise, are always just a pleasure to see. And this, I will never forget this.
I've seen Nosferatu.
The only thing that would have made tonight better was if I'd managed to actually meet him, and he'd managed to sign my Gremlin or my DVD or whatever. But you know what? Even just the fact that I got to speak to him was still pretty awesome.
Absolutely. I mean, it's really great.
Yeah, it was a really great experience, and I'm very grateful that we all got to share that together tonight.
Same. Thank you so much for coming with me, guys, because I got the ticket first, and I didn't even have enough to kind of buy you guys tickets at the same time. I just bought my own, and I was like, guys, you just need to come. David got one, and then it was like, okay, Harrison, you need to get yours, and you were like, I will. And then it was like 3 weeks later, and it's like, Harrison, you got your ticket yet? And you're like, no. And I was like, Dad!
Dude, time's running out here, come on!
I don't want you to miss out.
I know.
Yeah, so eventually
so it was so cool getting to see it with you guys, and
it was good.
And this is like one of the reasons why I love going to the GFT, to see all these classic movies and then revisiting that experience.
Well, I do see that.
Not even getting a chance to experience it ourselves, because obviously we weren't around in those days, but you could get an idea of what it must have been like.
Well, I do see though that going forward, obviously because of everything that has been on at GFT in recent years and things, we probably will be kind of paying a wee bit more close attention to what they're doing there,
absolutely.
So that we're not missing films like the rescreening of Gremlin. I mean, they've done the rescreening of Halloween, they've done the rescreening of The Shining, and all that kind of stuff. And these are all films we don't want to miss.
Yeah, there's also like a rescreening of Blade Runner: The Final Cut as well, like which I'm definitely going to try and make sure to go see that. They do a lot of cult movie screenings as well. Like,
I'm even going to take my mum and Corinne to see the It's a Wonderful Life, because that's on there until the 24th.
Yeah, because I really want to see that movie as well.
Yeah, there's so many stuff to check out there. Anyway, before we run out of time here, that's going to be it for this week. I guess that's that's our Christmas horror review. And David, you did your Black Christmas review, which is available on our page and on your YouTube channel. So we're starting to do Christmassy stuff.
We're branching out.
Yeah, I don't know. As for we said it last time, but I think going into next week is when we're going to do our Phantasm / Love Witch review. So we'll see what happens with that there. But we'll get ahead with that. But until next time, I'm Harrison Manson.
I'm Craig McKenzie.
And I'm David Patterson.
There just might be a gremlin in your house.